everybody. It's been a while since I've done a 4800 car update. Yeah. Uh, See, I got the Maximum transmission put back in the car. I got the new dynamic converter in it with the higher stall that I've been wanting to run that the old transmission just couldn't keep up with as far as uh, fluid pumping goes, but the new transmission should take care of it. So that's what got put in it right now. Been going through doing a bunch of miscellaneous prep stuff. Got the transfer case rebuilt, but must have damaged this temp sensor, so I had to order a new temp sensor. So I'm waiting to put that in the car because it's just easier to, not lose the fluid out of this, because this is at the bottom corner, because that sensor needs to sit in the fluid to actually measure the temperature of the fluid. So that is waiting. I have to drop engine oil, swap the filter out still. I cleaned the dash up, got the dash all nice clean. Installed a new button. That button is going to be the next page button, because the next button that we've been using down here for next page, that is going to be an alternator status light. So I'll know if the car automatically switches to the second alternator, and also if either of them or both of them are failing, because right now I don't have a status light for that. So we're going to use that guy as alternator, like I said, the alternator status, and then this one here is just going to be the next page button, because ran out of buttons. But oh well, that's what happens when you're trying to do high-tech cool shit. Which I don't know if I ever walked you guys through what the buttons do, so I'm gonna flip this around and show you what the buttons do. So obviously, ignition, starter, fuel pump 1, fuel pump 2, or press again is both, and they all have different status lights. You have the fresh air pumper, winch out, winch in. Like I said, this is going to be the alternator. This is the work lights. Then you go over here. You have headlights, A-pillars, front bumper, another front bumper. You have a yeet button, which is for the horn. You also have a next page for the dash. You have a reset for a dash, and then we have a pit limiter speed. So essentially, when you're coming into a pit, and let's say at Vegas Arena, we had a lot of 25-mile-an-hour speed zones. So you come down, get on the binders coming in hot to the pit zone, you hit that button, you roll back into it, and you'll feel the motor start kind of laying over and popping a little bit, because it's pulling fuel, pulling timing out of it to hold it at a GPS speed. But in order to do that, you need this guy, which is a GPS puck for the ECU Master EMU 16, the Pro 16. So something that not many Ultra 4 cars, I actually maybe think 3 or 4 of them have those. Nobody in 4800 class has those. So or has this, which is kind of cool. So in theory, like at Hammers for the pits is like 50 mile an hour. So before the race, go on the computer, blah, 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 bam, enter, put in 15 mile an hour, and it'll hold it at 15 mile an hour. It was an interesting thing to get used to, like how you get in the throttle and you just kind of hold it at a certain point, and it'll just maintain that speed. And you'll hear it banging, popping, similar to almost like a quote unquote two-step sound, but it's not so aggressive. You hear a lot of trophy trucks do that, and they, like when you hear them coming into a pit, you'll hear them like the motor sounds like it's running like dog shit, but it's because they're on the pit limiter and they're just kind of hanging out there on that pit limiter. And yeah, it's kind of sweet. It's a cool thing. This is the push to talk for the co-driver. This is a USB charging. Oh, put that back on. This here is what? Where's that? There it is. This is a programming port for programming the computer, the dash, anything you need to program. It's there. So that's all done. That obviously access panel to get to the dry sump tank. Yeah. Other than, like I said, I got to replace fuel filters. The dry sump scavenge filter, you need to pull it, clean it, and probably replace it. Do engine oil filter. I've already done the transmission filter. I gotta possibly pull the front diff out. I'm probably gonna go testing one more time before I pull the front diff out and reseal that. I just re-greased the driveline carry bearing. I need to re-grease the U-joints in the front end. There is a small crack right here. Let me flip this around. Small crack right. Whoa, I suck at this with the backwards camera. Right here that needs to get replaced, or not replaced. I need to weld it back up. I don't really know why that cracked, but it did. So got both the new DC power alternators, the two alternators installed with a bigger pulley on them, and same with, I got a nice new greenback belt, which kind of funny, the greenback belt are more resistant to slipping, and I couldn't get one in the size on my old setup when I had the smaller diameter pulleys, but now that I have the bigger pulleys, it upped the size of the belt, which in turn helped a lot of everything for me, as far as like I had a couple clearance issues between the tensioner and this. It was really tight, but it cleared still. But now the bigger belt, it gets a little bit farther away with still having the same amount of tension. I did, I added a bigger pulley to spare alternator, so that matches. Yeah, gotta get shock tuning soon. Hopefully in June. Want to be testing this in beginning of June, end of May, beginning of June sometime. So yeah, hopefully at least be able to put the transmission through its paces and figure out what's going to happen with it, and hopefully all the overheating issues that I had are gone. Because I was chasing a big issue with that other transmission, and I honestly God think it was a pump issue because it was cooking fluid before it got out of the transmission. I'm pretty sure I talked about this already, but the car, the way we did the plumbing and the cooling on the car, at first there was no air to oil coolers. It was all done through heat exchangers with the secondary core. I'm pretty sure I talked about that in another video. If I haven't, just comment in and give you guys a rundown on all that. But I ended up trying to help out the heat exchanger system with two air to oil coolers that are mounted back under here. There's one here and there's a matching one on the other side. Like, they're pretty damn decent size. Let me see if I can flip this around. Like, they're decent. And then they both have two fans each. So total 4 fans back there. They get a ton of airflow. Yeah, that was the idea, was to knock like 20 to 40 degrees off of the fluid before it hit the heat exchanger, to make the heat exchangers be a little bit more efficient. And yeah, that worked kind of until the transmission really started acting up. And like I said, the transmission would hit like 330, 340 degrees through Vegas to Reno. So yeah, that was not very good. Obviously, the fluid was pretty nasty when it came out of it. Yeah, just gonna keep working at it. Not much else I can do. Have a spare sensor for the SCS in my chase truck, which I'll go get that tomorrow after work, and then I'll bring that in, and I can put the transfer case back in the car, the drive lines back in, and then put the dash back in. With the dashes in, then I can put the seat in it, the tires back on it, and then change the oil, add transmission oil, change the engine oil, fix that crack on that, and then I can fire it up and move it out to wash it, because I did a horrible job. I didn't really take any panels off the car, interior panels, when I started working on it. So there's dirt and shit everywhere, as you can see. Yeah. So I need to give it a good wash. I said I'll just pull it out and wash it, and then put it over in that bay, because I need this bay for a long-term project coming in, which you guys will see a video, because there'll be a big series on that one. Spoiler alert, it's a Jeep TJ stretched on ORIs, like a steering 14 bolt, 42-inch traps, and I'm going to be pretty much redoing a bunch of it and fixing a bunch of it and getting it running and driving, because right now it doesn't run and drive. So yeah, cool race car things. Hopefully get to start driving again soon. Looking forward to it. Um, it'll be pretty fun. I'm anxious to see how the changes are gonna work with the car because I didn't change the ratio in the SCS. I left it the same 1:1 ratio in it that I ran at Vegas to Reno, and I want to see how that works with the lower first gear planetaries now, first and second gears in the maximum off road. Not maximum, just maximum transmission. I don't know why I did off roaded that. But whatever. It's hard talking to yourself. But yeah, that has lower first gear planetaries in it. So I'm hoping I'm going to do some testing down in Johnson Valley with it. And I'm not going to have to change the gear ratio and go deeper with the case down to like the 1:7 ratio like I had to do with my old setup because I'm hoping with the lower first gear in the transmission, everything's going to drive. And I'm hoping it'll be good enough to like get through hammers. And as long as I can keep the transmission cool, I'm not too worried about it. But I just got to make sure I can keep the transmission cool. So yeah, but only one way to find out is test it. So that's what I got to do, and that's what I'm going to do, and that's what this whole year is about. I've been doing a lot of pit crewing for trophy truck stuff with Johnny's Custom Motorsports and for John Webster and JP Webster. Um, yeah, we just got back from Laughlin, Nevada for the Battleground Legacy race. So I think the next one is the Legacy Baja Nevada race. So that will be a pretty decent run for them. After that, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to help them out as much as I want to, just because I need to make sure I don't burn a bunch of vacation time where I can't take this guy out and still have vacation time next year for hammers because I'm coming swinging the King of the Hammers 2027. That's just the way it's going to be. I'm coming out from blood. Same thing I did in Vegas to Reno, came out to win. I'm going to show up with the best car possible, and it's going to get a lot of hours of testing in it, and then it's going to get torn down and all brand new stuff put back in it. And then test it again before the race and make sure it's just dialed in. I'm going to have all my shock tuning done ahead of time. Everything's going to be done ahead of time. Just rather not have to do shock tuning down there and it's just useless miles beating on a car that doesn't need to happen. So I'd rather shock tune ahead of time, get the car dialed where I know it's going to be dialed, and then, yeah, and just show up, go pre-run. Hopefully I'll have a rig to pre-run in. I'm trying to build the Samurai, but it all depends on time and money, which seem to never have enough of either. So yeah, but if I don't have the rig to pre-run in, that's okay because this thing's gonna be badass and I ain't worried about it. But I am anxious to get in the rocks and see how it's gonna do. I haven't actually got to. Actually, this thing just hasn't even touched rocks. Period. So I need to get in the rocks and see what it's gonna do and how it's gonna react. So yeah, I got some work cut out for me, but that's okay. That's what testing and tuning is, and taking a year off to do that. So yeah, slowly, like I said, getting it all put back together, making sure I cross my T's, dot my I's, and while I'm at it, trying to build up spare parts. I'm going to be making spare leading arm, spare trailing arm. I need to make upper link for it, just so I have spare front upper link, because I have spare rear uppers right now, because that's what I bent shock tuning when I had some exhaust issues, blowing a lot of heat on the tube. It weakened the tube essentially, and it went bent. But yeah, I'm going to do chromoly uppers on it. So I'll replace these when I go to tear it down. I'll keep these because these are just 1 3/4 DOM, those upper links on the front. So I'll build some chromoly links, put the chromoly ones in and keep the DOM ones as spares. And then the lowers are heat treated chromoly already, but I'm going to end up making just some, try to find some chromoly 2-inch and then essentially build the same thing and then have those heat treated. I want to actually build a full set of rears and a full set of fronts. The front, I want to do a little bit more instead of just stopping right there. I want to try to run it all the way back to the chassis. I don't see why I can't. There's plenty of room to do it. Nothing ever gets close. The only thing that gets kind of close is that exhaust right there, but not 100% sure if it'll clear it. So just a matter of going to full bump and checking that out when that time comes. But I'm curious to see how this whole setup holds up in the rocks. They're heat treated chromoly, so it should be normalized where it shouldn't be an issue. But there's always a problem when you have a leverage point that's right here. Like I said, the rears go all the way from the back to the uniball, and ideally I want to do the same thing on the front. So yeah, that it's all stuff that I'm gonna make happen, and slowly, like I said, building up spare parts. I've already got a spare parts box almost set up perfect with everything that's in my race or in my chase truck is in a spare parts box. So when I buy parts, I buy 2 of them. Just that sucks to do, but I'd rather buy once, cry once. I got spare unit bearings. I need to have 2 more drive shafts made, 1 more front and 1 more rear, and then I'll be set with having. I'll have 2 sets of. Let's see. Wait, no, I need two rear shafts and 1 front shaft, and I'll have 2 spares. I'll have I'll have 3 sets of spares. The set that's on the car for a spare, I'll have a spare for the front and rear for my truck, for my chase truck, and then I'll have a front and rear for for the second pit box too. So just all things that slowly working on doing and making happen, but just got to do it. Yeah. So again, just plugging along. This is my quick little overview of what I have to do. I have essentially this week and next week to get the car done, which should be plenty of time to do it. Realistically, like I said, to get it running and driving, I can have it running and driving in a night. I just need that sensor that I broke when I pulled the transfer case out. So once I get that sensor, I will be able to, wow, just put my finger in the camera. That was cool. Once I get that sensor, again, I'll be able to start working on shit. So yeah, it's been a while since I posted on here. Just been busy with life, doing dad shit, which is fun and stressful all at the same time. My little guy is going to be 4 in October, so he's like all full of words and emotions, and like he's all about dad right now, which is super cool, and it's super fun that he is he literally wants to do everything I do, which is freaking rad. Today, like I sat on the couch today, and he just jumps up next to me and like lays into me and just like hangs out with me. He follows me everywhere. Like he sees I have my phone in his pocket, he puts his little toy phone in his pocket. He tries to mimic me in every way, shape, and form. It's super fun. And he's been to my shop quite a few times. Like we've tinkered on stuff together, just slowly getting him involved in this, which is what I'm really looking forward to with being a dad and having racing and having the shop and all that stuff. That's just something that I grew up with my dad always working on stuff and me helping in. I want to carry on that and like share that experience with my kids. So I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, I've rambled on enough. So again, I'll keep posting on this now that I'm working on the race car. So hopefully you'll see more videos. For now, I'm going to go get that sensor tomorrow, and I'll be back at it tomorrow.